Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining for a daily class of His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, are we continuing with Kunti prayers today, Guru Maharaj? The topic or any new topic? Guru Maharaj, you are on.
Yeah, Kunti's prayers.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining. Even though you have a busy schedule, you took time and joined for this class, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much. You can please take over. I'll share the screen. No, today we are on 41, Guru Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tata Vishvesa Vishvatmaham Vishvamurti Sukeshume Sneha Pasamimam Chindi Dritha Pandushu Vrishnishu. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my affection from my kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. A pure devotee, the Lord is ashamed to ask anything in self-interest for the Lord. The householder is sometimes obliged to ask faith. Kunti was conscious of this fact, and therefore she prayed to the Lord to cut off the affection from her own kinsmen, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis. The Pandavas are her sons, and the Vrishnis are the members of her paternal family. Krishna was equally related to both families. Both the families required the Lord's help because both were dependent devotees of the Lord. Srimati Kunti wished Sri Krishna to remain with her sons, the Pandavas, but by his doing so, her paternal house would be bereft of the benefit. I'll read that again. Kunti Devi wished Sri Krishna to remain with her paternal house would be bereft of the benefit. All these partialities troubled the mind of Kunti, and therefore she desired to cut off the affectionate ties. Pure devotee cuts off the limited ties of affection for his family.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, your voice is cutting a lot, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think, yeah, Guru Maharaj dropped off. Okay.
Yeah, I have a very unstable internet. I'm here in Gita Nagari. And so it may happen again. So let's see.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
To cut off all family affection means to broaden the field of activities. Without doing this, no one can be qualified as a Brahmin, a king, a public leader, or a devotee of the Lord. The personality of Godhead as an ideal king showed this by example. Sri Ramachandra cut off the tie of affection for his beloved wife to manifest the qualities of an ideal king. Such personalities as a Brahmin, a devotee, a king, or public leader must be very broad-minded in discharging their respective duty. Srimati Kunti was conscious of the fact, and being weak, she prayed to be free from such bondage of family affection. The Lord is addressed as the Lord of the universe, or the Lord of the universal mind, indicating his all-powerful ability to cut off a hard knot of family affection. Therefore, it is sometimes experienced that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him, and thus clears the path for going home back to Godhead. Vigyan Timirandasya Gina Jana Salakaya Chaksu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschyatyare Sitarne Vanchakalpatarubhischa Vipa Sindhupe Vacha Danam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasudi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Queen Kunti Devi. Again, O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, person universe. Therefore, several rishis. So here we see Kunti Devi being a woman who is in a maritable situation. She has two families. And she has her father's family and she has her husband's family. Prabhupada would say the man has one family, the woman has two families. So the woman is connected to the husband's family and to the father's family. And Kunti, she's family members, is interfering with or causing her to be disconnected to Krishna or less connected to Krishna. Prabhupada said in material life, people always pray for material benefits. You know, make my son have good marks, make my family healthy, make this, and it all centers around affection for the family. And it's material attachments because in one life we have a particular family, the families of, or one of the families of a dog or a pig or a pussycat or something. So the soul is completely free from everything material, but it takes on all of these arrangements due to the material body and material affection that comes with having a material body. And therefore, people want to worship the Lord in order to improve, to want actually to become Krishna conscious, because they think that, well, why can't we enjoy both worlds? We want to be a worshiper of the Lord, and at the same time, we want all of our material arrangements to be successful. It actually becomes ridiculous. We have seen that one time, one lady, she came to our temple in London, and she had a son who was going to, I believe it was not university, but you might call it high school or middle school. She was temple, please let my son have 10 A's. He had 10 subjects. She wanted him to have an A in every subject. So she made her prayer, left the temple, and when the time came for the boy to get his marks, he got 9 A's, not 10. And the lady was not even material benefits, material desires. But the Lord doesn't do that. Sometimes he'll do that just to make a person a little bit more devoted in Krishna conscious. But that is not his business to fulfill material desires. He's there to improving material life. And sometimes we see even many religious leaders, they indicate if a person has some
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
they say, oh, it's because you worship God so nicely, you got all this.
Guru Maharaj, sorry to interrupt you. If you can switch off your video, I think your voice will be better, Guru Maharaj, because anyway, video was hanging out. Stuck. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, Guru Maharaj, thank you.
So, people think that by worshiping the Lord, we will improve. And if they get some improvement in material life, the leaders in certain religious areas indicate that that means they have been worshiping the Lord nicely, and therefore the benefit has come. But not necessarily. Krishna is not there to fulfill our material desires. He's there to actually bring us out of this material world and back to him and back to Godhead. He's not going to fortify the attachments that will keep us in this material world, and at the same time to Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says on the very last, I think towards the end of the purport, if you could go down the page. Sometimes experience that the Lord, out of his special affinity towards a weak devotee, breaks the family affection by force of circumstances arranged by his all-powerful energy. By doing so, he causes the devotee to become completely dependent on him and thus clears the path for his going back home, back to Godhead. So this is the mercy of the Lord. So taking up devotional service really means to fulfill all of our desires perfectly and completely. Our real desire is to become happy, and no material arrangement can guarantee happiness. Some temporary relief from material suffering or some security away from the material energy may happen occasionally, and a person may have some pious activities which allow them to receive a little bit of material benefits. But all of these should be seen as the mercy of the Lord in order for one to practice devotional service free from the encumbrances of material life. Prabhupada used to say that one thing good about the devotees in the Western world when he was preaching, they weren't so attached to their families. when Prabhupada was trying to preach Krishna consciousness in India, it was very difficult. They had so much interference from family members. Sometimes even the family members would approach Prabhupada and say, well, you know, he's too young. Wait till he grows up, has a family, and gets old, and then he can be a devotee of the Lord. So they all have their own arrangements. We had one situation in one minute, I'll be right back. We had one situation in India, in Mumbai, where one brahmachari left his family and came to join full time. And the mother was quite disturbed. She came into the brahmachari ashram and threatened to commit suicide if the boy didn't come home. And so that caused a lot of alarm. And then the boy went home, not wanting his mother to commit suicide. So he went, and then after some time he came back again. And again his mother came. And again she threatened suicide by sticking her finger into a open electrical socket. And this time they could understand she was just threatening with no real, determination to carry it out. So the boy stayed. So this goes on. We find it everywhere. Family members, friends who are friends with devotees always think that they know better what is best for the person. The one who becomes Krishna consciousness not only is making progress back home, back to Godhead, but the benefit. Hare Krishna. You guys, yeah, I have a call. Sorry. Too loud. Okay. Yeah, somewhere else. No. I'll go. Yeah, later. Sorry about that. There was some people right next to my door. So yeah, therefore Krishna consciousness, the person presses it, but everyone connected to that person. We have the example of consciousness. His mother, who actually inspired him to leave home and go to the forest and find Krishna. And of course he did. And then after many years, he became a purified devotee. And he lived his life in such a powerful way that he was given one of the highest positions as a devotee to rule the pole star, which is also known as Dhruvaloka, for 36,000 years. And after that time period, he was meant to go back home, back to Godhead. When the time came to go back home, back to Godhead, he asked about his mother also. And my mother, she should also come back to Godhead, because it was her that gave me the inspiration to take up spiritual life. So he was very much indebted to his mother, who was the force that was behind the direction he needed. She acted like she acted as a guru. There's one particular guru. It's called Padart Bhartmana Guru, which means that person who brings you to the platform of Krishna consciousness. It's like sometimes, we meet somebody to a temple and then our spiritual life begins. Or we meet somebody who gives us a book and our spiritual life begins. Or we meet someone in general and they tell us about devotional service, we take it up. So these people are also in the category of being a spiritual master, the one who brings one to the spiritual platform like that. In the case of Dhruva Maharaj, it was his mother. And because he remembered that, and when it was time for him to leave, he asked, can my mother also go back home, back to Godhead? And they told Dhruva as he was getting into the flower airplane, just look to your left. And he did, and his mother was also getting into an aerial airplane to return to the spiritual world. So family members should understand that it is a great benediction for anyone who fully takes up the process of Krishna consciousness, because they also benefit automatically simply by the mercy of the Lord. Because one who takes up Krishna consciousness, and if he becomes a pure devotee, becomes very dear to the Lord. And therefore the Lord also wants to benefit that person by connecting the persons that are with that person in life. Also, they get the mercy in one form or another. It seems like it says that if you actually become a pure devotee, then 14 generations of your family members, 14 past generations, and from future and past, will take birth in their next life in a devotee family. That means they receive a type of liberation where they begin their Krishna consciousness like that. So, so Queen Kunti, she's interested simply in being freed from all material encumbrances and focus her full attention on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as an affectionate lady who has the Pandavas as her relatives, the Vrishnis as her relatives, she has a large family, but still, and she's also respected in those families, but still. And Prabhupada also talks about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he left everything and took sannyas. He had a very affectionate wife. His mother was the ideal mother, very loving, caring. He had so many friends. He had a reputation in the society. He left everything just to take sannyas. And Prabhupada, of course, mentions he's teaching us from the platform of a devotee how anything in this material world, no matter how nice it is, cannot be compared to the success and happiness that one will achieve in the process of devotional service. Devotional service is ideal. And Prabhupada says, for those who don't take up devotional service, they haven't reached the human form of life yet. Just like yesterday, we were here in Gita Nagari, two two very wonderful devotees took initiation here, who are very much connected to our 1 minute. I'm getting a lot of outside noise again. 1 minute. So Krishna is giving me some trouble today. Anyway, just to help me. Yeah, so these points are very much important to understand how, unless I mentioned we had a initiation ceremony yesterday. Two wonderful devotees took initiation. And in the course of discussions, it was understood and expressed how devotional service is very rare. To come to devotional service is extremely rare. And even rarer yet is to get a human form of life. So, no, getting a human form of life is rare, but to come into devotional service is even rarer. Very few people who have a human body, which is a rare gift given by material energy. The living entity traverses through millions of species of life before they actually get to the human form of life. And those who take up Krishna consciousness in the human form of life are very rare. Manusanam sahasreshu yasyat kaschid yatam avisidhanam kaschid veti tatpataha. Krishna explains in the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita that very few people who take up devotional service actually become liberated. And even those who become liberated, Krishna says, hardly one knows me in truth. So it's a great, devotional service is not so easy. But still, it's the highest perfection of existence. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada says that, but because of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's made it a lot easier. And what is that mercy? Sri Harinam Sankirtan. We take seriously to the path, overcome all of the difficulties in devotional service. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur gives the statement where the living entity is encumbered and held down by so many anarthas or unwanted things, desires. But if they chant the holy names of the Lord and take to the Harinam Sankirtan regularly and enthusiastically, they can overcome all of these blocks, these anarthas, these obstacles that are keeping us back in devotional service. And the greatest obstacles are our attachment to this material world. We have a material body, but that body is different. We are pure spiritual energy. And we can only be happy according to our nature. We cannot find happiness based on something that is foreign. The happiness related to the body is not happiness because we are not the body. And the so-called happiness that the body, the senses, and the mind achieves is just a part of the different experiences that the mind has in the material world. Some of them are better than others from a material point of view, but they're all meant to keep us an illusion about our real identity. Therefore, we should seriously take up the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Only then we'll be able to cut through all of this illusion and come to the platform. One qualifies himself to return to the spiritual world, where life is eternal, full of knowledge and full of unlimited bliss. And to get the mercy of Krishna means to get the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Radharani is Bhakti Devi. She is the greatest devotee of Krishna. She is the epitome of the symbol of pure love for Krishna. She has purchased Krishna. Krishna becomes purchased by devotion. And her devotion is beyond any devotion anywhere in any level of existence. It's so great that no one can describe it, no one can understand it. And it purchases Krishna. And therefore, if we get the mercy of Srimati Radharani, and how do we get the mercy of Srimati Radharani? It's by getting the mercy of our spiritual master. And by getting the mercy of our spiritual master, we get by following the instructions given to us by the spiritual master. And if we seriously follow that, especially Srila Prabhupada says, chant at least 16 rounds every day on beads without fail. He didn't say 16 rounds. He said at least 16 rounds. He was giving us the bottom line, not the limit. And he made that point clear too. He qualified that. So therefore, we seriously and regularly chant 16 rounds on beads without fail, follow the principles, and engage in devotional service. Even though devotional service is very difficult, we can still overcome these difficulties by the mercy of Krishna coming through the spiritual master. Okay, so I'll stop there and see if there's any comments or questions.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Very apt title, apt topic. So it's related to everyone. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for enlightening us on this topic. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or realizations to share, please go ahead. And I know this is a wonderful topic. You must be having a lot of questions. So I see the hands raised already. Raj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to understand a bit more about the position of, let's call them a weak devotee and family affection. Because in the example that you mentioned, said Krishna sometimes he breaks the ties of family affection for a weak devotee, and that pushes them into
what don't you understand about the statement?
It's just that in my understanding, if someone is if I'm a weak devotee, if Krishna broke my family affection, I may have so many other material desires, and not having the family affection may push one towards other material desires instead of towards Krishna.
Yeah, but Krishna knows how to do things.
Okay.
Prabhupada didn't say that's an absolute principle. He can do that. He may do that.
So should we be worried about family affection, or should we just focus on devotional service?
You should understand that the people who you call family members all belong to Krishna. They're spiritual beings. It's like you are spiritual beings. They are spiritual beings also. That's all. They belong to Krishna. You can call them my husband, my wife, my children, my whatever you want to call it. But they're not yours. They belong to Krishna. And so we have a relationship with these persons. If there's some affection there, it has to be in support of our devotional service. In other words, husband and wife may work together to serve the Lord and bring the children along also. So everything has to center around devotional service to Krishna. And therefore, the families can go on if they're all focused on Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, if they're not, just like there are many names, the mother's a devotee, the father's a devotee, the daughter's a devotee, the son is an atheistic rascal. And although he lives at home, he has no regard for his parents. He lives off his parents. He's an atheist. I know him. I've talked to him. I tried to preach to him. It was useless. So, and now he got married and he moved his wife into the house too. And they're all living off the family. So, and, so I just recently talked to the father and I said, just throw him out of the house. And the daughter, she agrees. Yeah, my brother should throw him out of the house. But the parents don't want to do that. And he's just taking advantage. He's not growing. They're in a situation where he doesn't really respect them for who they are or what they believe in. They're serious devotees too. So this affection goes to the point of ridiculousness. If they actually had affection for the boy, they would give him a chance to grow and learn about life by removing him from that dependent situation on the family. But affection overcomes intelligence so much, but the affection is based on the body, that's all it is. There's no affection for the soul, because the soul there's a possibility if he was removed from that situation, or using this as a general example, he may be forced in relationship to the Lord. And the boy, I know him from so many years, he used to be curious about God. And I would talk to him and I would speak to him. He never acknowledged, but he was open. Now he's got to the point of completely shutting down. He doesn't want to hear anything. He is, he's a complete disbeliever. But and his sister, she's a wonderful devotee. His mother, his father, all of them. But this is family affection to the extreme. But it's not even based on good logic. But of course, they will learn through time, everything will come out. And it's been like this for years and years. It's not like something just happened recently. So anyway, I'm just giving you an example how family affection becomes so ridiculous. Just like Dhritarashtra, what was his family affection? He knew his sons were avaricious. And he knew Vidura was giving him good advice, his brother, but he couldn't follow. And he said, I just can't give up my affection and attachment for my sons. But then when they all were killed in the Battle of Kurukshetra, then he woke up a little bit. There was nothing to be affectionate for anymore. All his kids were killed, 100 of them. And then he went to Krishna and started to inquire in a more intelligent way. So we lose everything in this material world. Krishna will always be with us. Life after life after life, he's always there. But how much we turn to him is how much we benefit from that relationship. So there shouldn't be anything in between our relationship with Krishna. We have to deal with certain responsibilities that come by way of living in this material world, but we should do it in a detached way. When it's done in an attached way, then what happens is that we minimize our relationship with Krishna, and sometimes we even lose it. Lose it in the sense is that we give it up. We opt for the material. And I've seen it happens. But compare the happiness you get in material life compared to the happiness that's in spiritual life. It's not even comparable. It says that the happiness of material life is like one drop of water in the desert. So you might say, well, at least there's something. Yeah, one drop, but what will it do you? That one drop will just increase your thirst for more water, that's all. So living in this material world is to take care of material responsibilities in a detached way and developing our attraction and attachment for Krishna. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dhanabran. We don't understand that, and therefore we get kidding. Our attachment to the material world is like a cloud. We can't understand the right philosophy because of our material attachments. Same with Dhritarashtra. He couldn't understand. I mean, Vidura was there, Krishna was there. They were all giving him advice. Couldn't give up his attachment to his sons. Only when they were all killed, finally he woke up. And he had the best association. Vidura is Yamaraj himself. And Krishna was the supreme personality of Godhead. And still, he opposed Krishna in favor of his, what they say, Prabhupada calls nasty sons, who were just trying to usurp the kingdom away from the rightful heirs, the Pandavas, against the desire of Krishna. He's an example of family attachment to the utmost. And I mean, who is Dhritarashtra? I mean, his father was Vyasadeva. So he's not coming from a small group, he's a great personality in all sense of the word. But finally, he woke up at the end. Him and his wife, they went to the forest and performed austerities, became fully self-realized, attained liberation and went back to the spiritual world. But it took them to lose everything first. So either we're going to have to lose everything before we wake up, or we're going to have to detach ourselves now and make progress before everything is taken away anyway. So we have a choice. Because nothing in this world stands the test of time. Time takes everything away. Is that okay, Raj?
Yes, thank you very much, Maharaj.
Okay, take care of your family, but understood that bring your family to Krishna. That's the most important thing.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Even Christ said that, you know. He said, you know, if your family is not inclined to spiritual life, then just put your hands on the plow and look forward and don't look back. In other words, give it up.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
And you're also benefiting them also. They don't realize it, but they're also getting the benefit of your devotional service. Asha.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Asha Mataji.
Yes. Hare Krishna Maharaj, my humble obeisances at your feet, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all the devoted, assembled devotees. Maharaj, today, even before I would have asked you a question, you spoke on the topic, or you spoke on the subject, or you spoke on that which was really bothering me. Today, what you have given, what you have taught us as a devotee, what we had to learn, that what you said was all that was bothering me from yesterday. And I didn't know that this was the thing that you were going to present today. And it just came in front of me, all that what that was bothering me from yesterday night. But still, I have to ask you, Maharaj, that as you know, God has not left anything for me. It's me and him, that's it. So I wanted to know that 2 years back, I had bought a pet, a small puppy. 2 years now, he's 2 years old. And being in love with Krishna, sometimes I feel guilty that am I making Krishna unhappy by having this pet at home with me? When I want to sometimes give him, again the heart says that I cannot be selfish for my spiritual growth. How can I just let this thing go and stay in a foster home or something like that? So then yesterday when I was having this botheration whether I'm doing a wrong thing, is Krishna unhappy, will Krishna love me less if I am taking care of him? Then my daughter said, Maharaj, that just for 1 year, take care of him. After an year, I will take along with him to the university where I'm staying rather than giving him away. So you will also not feel guilty and I will take care of him. I wanted to do, Maharaj, I wanted to know from you, Maharaj, that these things that make me guilty, feel that, both sides, like this side, if I do this to this, because this is also a spirit soul having this body, and am I doing a harm or am I doing something wrong to him or to Krishna? Am I making him unhappy? Is Krishna unhappy with me that I'm taking care of him? So please, Maharaj, all other attachments Krishna has already taken away from me. I don't have anybody other than Krishna. Only this one.
Yeah. Okay, I got your point.
Yeah.
Oh, and Krishna doesn't say anything about giving up family. He says, make your family Krishna conscious. And if your family is only a dog, then make them Krishna conscious.
Yes,
give him prasadam.
Yes, Maharaj, he's a vegetarian. Maharaj, he's a vegetarian. I don't give him non-vegetarian food, Maharaj, vegetarian.
Oh, well, be careful, because we've done that with animals before, and after a while they get sick. So you can do that with dogs. Dogs can become vegetarians, but cats cannot be. Generally, cats have a hard time with that.
Right.
Depends on the animal itself. But watch, make sure he doesn't get sick, because sometimes you have to give him, dog food.
No, Maharaj, I have trained him from the childhood giving homemade food. So I have not bought any time any dog food for him for the last 2 years. And by God's grace, he doesn't fall sick. He's accustomed to that food that I prepare for him. So,
Okay. All
yes,
right.
Maharaj.
Is he still happy?
Yes, Maharaj, he is. And anyways, there is a Hare Krishna Maha Mantra of Srila Prabhupada Maharaj in YouTube, which is for 11 hours. It plays continuously. And I play that continuously, Maharaj. There is nothing else that plays in this house. And that is the only sound even he hears whenever he is around, like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the only
Okay.
thing that.
So you're following in Lord Chaitanya's footsteps. Lord Chaitanya took 2 dogs back to Godhead. So maybe you can get the special mercy of Lord
Yes, Maharaj, he's also a spirit soul.
Chaitanya and be the
share-
person who takes your dog back to God.
He's also a spirit soul, Maharaj. Why should I differentiate him from Vishnu? I don't want to do that.
I didn't hear
Maharaj,
that.
yeah, Maharaj, one more question. I'm sorry, Maharaj, just one more question. That they say that you have to give importance to this body because that's the body. The body has to take you back to the journey. But one thing bothers me is, Maharaj, that in some places where if you want to go and work, you need to get dressed up very elegantly, and you need to take care of your hair, you need to take care of your face, all kind of stuff. That really bothers me, Maharaj, because it's like, especially the hair. Like 2 years back, I remember I had done it crop because that really gives me more, it brings back to me, it is pulling me back to the materialistic world, like something, the Maya is taking me back, and oh, you should look like this, you should do this, you should do that, your hair should be back, your hair should be like this. So Maharaj, is it wrong if I crop it? I don't want that to be a hindrance, Maharaj, because you're so attached to your looks. Oh, will I look like this? Will I look like that? Okay, now I don't want that, Maharaj.
I don't want you to want it either.
So what to do, Maharaj? Can I crop it, Maharaj, or is it?
Crop it, but don't shave it off, because Prabhupada said no ugly gopis.
Okay, I can at least crop it, Maharaj, right, Maharaj?
Yeah, you can do that. I have a disciple who has done that already.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah.
You have received so many things today from me. These 2 things were only things that were bothering me, and by God's grace, you have put me down, Maharaj. You're really, that's a big hurdle. It was a big hurdle. So I don't have to have this coming here. It will be cropped. So I'm so happy, Maharaj.
Yeah, and it's easier to manage too.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
This idea of looking good is like, and your relatives come and they say, oh, he never looked so good in his whole life,
I will not be bothered, Maharaj. I will not be any more bothered that whether I'm looking good or whether I'm not looking good or whether people like me or not like me. I'll be not bothered. Krishna loves me, and that is more than important. Nothing else I matter.
If you keep that mood, then Krishna will show you his love more and more.
And Maharaj, also Krishna has given a grace that my sister who is in Dubai, who was criticizing me, they banned me, like they shunned me, they were not talking to me. And today she showed the interest to join ISKCON because she's in Dubai. So there is one Mataji who is in Bhakti group. So I gave her number to Mataji to call her and speak to her, because I told my sister that the biggest gift that you can give your children as a mother is not the customized cake or the expensive toys or big cars, but the biggest gift that you can give your kids is remain in Krishna consciousness and their dependency on the Lord for the whole of their life. And she agreed, Maharaj, by God's grace.
Rishabh Dev By Rishabdev in the Bhagavatam says one should not become father, one should not become mother, one should not become teacher, one should not become guru unless they can deliver their disciples from the repetition of birth and death. So to take the position of a parent or a guru is a great responsibility. You have the responsibility to bring your dependents to the process of devotional service. If you
Yes,
don't do
Maharaj.
that, then you are delinquent. You're
Yes,
actually delinquent.
I
You-
everybody comes in, Maharaj. Dogs, cats, birds, humans, everybody stay in his love. Because ultimately that's the only truth, Maharaj.
Okay, where are you? You're in India now?
Canada, Maharaj, I'm in Canada.
Which place?
Mississauga, near to Oakville, Toronto, Brampton, Mississauga, Maharaj.
Oh, you're in Brampton?
Mississauga, Maharaj, Mississauga.
Oh, yeah, that's I was just in Canada a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yes,
Did,
Maharaj.
did you come to the
Next
did you
time
come
when
to
come
did you
to
come to the
Canada.
did you come to the Toronto Rath Yatra?
Yes, Maharaj, I met you. I don't know if you remember. I met you. I spoke to you. I took your blessings and I have written an email to you, but unfortunately, I didn't get a reply. I know you're busy.
I think maybe I think I'm looking at my emails and I don't see your email there. Maybe send it again anyway.
Yes, Maharaj, I will send it. And to also to make to tell you, Maharaj, Jagannath Maharaj, Lord Jagannath has blessed this Ajamal's,
Oh,
like
yeah. Now I remember. I remember you now. Yeah. We met at the Kirtan program on Friday, and then we met
Yes,
again on Saturday.
yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. Oh.
And Maharaj, Oakville, there is a Rath Yatra, but I didn't know that it was not a Rath Yatra, but I had registered, and by Lord's blessing, they told me that Lord Jagannath will be coming to the house to shower blessings on the 6th of August at 2:30 p.m. And I really was surprised, Maharaj, that how could this be possible? The most sinful, body, this has gone through so much of sins, and today you are giving me so much of abundance of grace, which I am not eligible for. And I'm so
Now I remember you. Yeah.
yes, Maharaj, I'm so happy because I don't know how Lord has blessed so much, so much, so much, so much. He has taken away everything, but he has been with me, and he's the only one I talk to from morning till night. He's the one I speak to. I know he listens me because he is the one who wants to hear, and he hears what he wants to hear from me. And every day, what is the conversation, me and him? This is the only conversation, Maharaj. I don't have any other conversations with anybody.
Yeah, there's a nice verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Krishna's teasing Rukmini and trying to get her angry by degrading himself and criticizing himself and saying that Rukmini, you made a big mistake by choosing me. You should have chosen Shishupal. He was a better candidate. He has reputation. He has position. I just come from, a band of cowherd men. Krishna's making himself feel he's trying to get her angry, but she doesn't get angry. She faints, and then she goes on to explain what woman in her right mind would accept a body that is decorated has bones, marrow, blood, pus, urine, feces, and all kinds of abominable materials inside, and decorated outside with hair and mustaches and beards. What woman in their right mind accept anything like that over you?
I will
If you read, it's a nice verse. It's from the It's from the 10th canto, 45th chapter, verse number 60. The purport is just as good as the translation, or even better. Yeah, thank you. Don't cry too much, though.
No, it's not the tears of sorrow or sadness, Maharaj. It's just the tears of gratitude and love for Krishna. He's my beloved, and I will wait for him even if it takes me thousands and thousands of births. I will not give my heart to anyone and anything, Maharaj. Never.
Thank you. And because of that, Krishna will take you in this life. He will make you,
Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. And keep chanting the holy names with love and attachment.
Yes, Maharaj, he's my beloved. And I chant for him, to please him, as you said, always. I'll do everything only to please him. I'll not do anything that will annoy him or take me away from him. Nothing can come in between me and him unless he thinks so.
He won't do that.
And you are there, Maharaj, you are there. He has sent me to you because I was looking for a guru for the last 4 years. I was praying to him that please help me, please help me, please help me. Literally, I want to get away from the samsara, the bondage. I don't want to be here. This is not my place. Why am I working so hard? Why am I behind all these things? This is not my place. Help me, I need a guru. And look, Maharaj, I was there at your feet in the 12 hours kirtan, which was unexpected, Maharaj.
Hare
Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Send me your letter again. I don't think I received.
Maharaj, I will surely, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hey, Aisha, thank you. Sri Devi.
Hare Krishna. Sri Devi Mataji.
After such ecstatic exchanges, Guru Maharaj, I could sit here and listen to Asha forever. My humble obeisances to all the devotees.
I think she should be giving the classes, not me.
Wonderful purity of devotion. Amazing.
Yeah. I'm running out of time because people are coming to drag me out of here in about an hour, and I have to do a few things yet. So let's wind this up.
I can ask later, Guru Maharaj. I think with Asha's sweet exchange, it's such a nice way to end the class.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should we stop here, or is there any other questions?
Yeah, Guru Maharaj, can you please repeat the verse number which you were mentioning to Asha Mataji?
It's 10th canto, 60th chapter, 660.
Verse number, Guru Maharaj?
Verse number 45. Looking.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Okay, devotees, thank you so much for joining. I think Guru Maharaj connection is not good. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining today. We'll end the call here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Maharaj.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.